So with football being the fast-paced, annoying industry that it is, I had a video made that was ready to go up tonight. It was on Billericay Town and how they sacked their manager, Harry Wheeler, because he didn't want to play the owner, Glenn Tamplin's son, who's 16 years old, up front, ahead of Matt Reid, who has played hundreds of games in the Football League effectively. That's effectively what happened. That's what it is in a nutshell. And that was ready to go up, but it's all relatively irrelevant now because of what's happened today. Glenn Tamplin has now stepped down from his role as owner and director at Billericay Town. We're going to be looking into what it means, what's actually going to happen, and what's happened during his time at the club. It's been an absolute roller coaster. We're going to be looking at it all in this video. But first of all, this video is sponsored by One Football, which is a great way to stay up to date with lots of different information from the world of football. Lots of different information, including league tables, fixtures, results, stats, lineups, and lots of different notifications that you can turn on for different teams as well to stay up to date with lots of different things on a match day. It's a very highly rated app with average ratings of 4.7 and 4.8 on Apple and Android, with over 1 million people voting for the rating on Android in particular. So it is a very highly rated app, and I do recommend that you go and download it if you haven't already. Link to download it will be in the top line of the description. But yeah, what's actually going on at Billericay? It's a crazy one. First of all, we'll start with what was actually going to be in the original video that was meant to be published and was uploaded to YouTube and ready to go. So Glenn Tamplin decided that he was going to dismiss his manager, Harry Wheeler, for effectively the third time. I've done quite a lot of videos on Billericay during Tamplin's 3 years at the club, but as a summary of the managerial situation, which is the most dramatic part of what's been going on, this tweet sums it up pretty perfectly. He appointed himself as manager, then sacked himself, then rehired himself, then sacked himself again, then hired Harry Wheeler, then sacked him mid-game at Woking. He then hired Steve Watt and sacked him later in the same day. He then hired himself as manager, then sacked himself, then hired Wheeler, then sacked Wheeler now. The reason for this one was differences of opinion that have led to the decision, and the owner feels changes needed to be made. Jamie O'Hara will take control of first team duties and will look to immediately make his mark by looking at bringing in some young, talented academy players to add to the good experience we have. By young and talented academy players, according to the non-league paper, one of the people that this was referring to was Glenn Tamplin's own 16-year-old son, Archie Tamplin, who has been on the bench a couple of times, come off with the bench a couple of times so far this season. But the looks of things, Glenn Tamplin wanted his son to be playing more. Is it a valid reason to be sacking a manager because of not playing a specific player or not playing certain players that the owner wants to be playing? That could be seen as the owner interfering a little bit too much with the team selection. And also if it's because the owner wants his son to be playing more often, regardless of how good the son is, you know, you could see that as being nepotism, which can be a problem in any industry anywhere. This whole situation is relatively insignificant now because Glenn Tamplin has announced this morning, the 18th of September, and just 24 hours after Harry Wheeler was sacked as manager, that he will be leaving the club. A statement on the Billericay website released by Tamplin says that from day one it was always my ambition to improve the infrastructure and community aspects of the club, and with very strong investment of my own personal money I feel I leave the club in a good position to move forward and continue to build on the foundations I have laid and add further advancement under a new ownership. Now some people have actually been questioning whether Tamplin will actually end up leaving, because in the past he's threatened to leave. This happened around 12 months ago when he was accused of taking drugs during a match at Woking, was actually stopped by the police twice on his way home, which is pretty terrible, and as a result he said that he was going to sell the club if the right offer came in within a couple of weeks. Unsurprisingly, no one came in and matched what he wanted, so he carried on as owner. During his time at the club, he has invested around £2 million into improving the stadium and also into improving the squad. The squad is at an unbelievable point, really, to be honest. The money that is being spent in that squad and the players that have been brought in over the 3 years that he's been there have been incredible. Some of the players that have been there, the likes of Jermaine Pennant, Paul Konchesky, Jamie O'Hara, who's now the manager, they're players that are coming in on £2,000–3,000 per week. And currently the club have the likes of Matt Reid, Gavin Gunning, Ronnie Henry. They're just three summer signings that I'd imagine will be on a lot of money currently. And this is where a big problem lies. Will the club be able to afford to keep these big players that are probably on a lot of money? Will they actually be able to continue to pay these players, or will they have to have a big clear out just to save the club from going into administration? Now, it is expected apparently that co-owner Andy Casillas is going to continue to own the club, and you know, what will happen to Tamplin shares? Will Casillas take those shares, or will Tamplin sell those onto somebody else? Because stepping down as an owner and director, it's easy enough to step down as a director, but to step down as an owner of a club where you are the majority shareholder is very, very difficult. You need to find someone that's going to come and take your shares, which I'd imagine that Tamplin wants quite a lot of money for those shares because he has invested a lot of money into the club. Will Casillas have the money to go and just pay for those shares and take them off his hands, or will Tamplin just go silent and not really do much with the club and still own it? The exit of players has actually already started. Later in the day, on the 18th of September, it was announced Danny Waldron was going to leave the club. He's a popular player at Billericay who's been there a couple of years now and has done really well for the club, actually. So, you know, that might be a bit of a concern, and maybe we'll see over the next few days and weeks whether other players will follow him in leaving the club. But we obviously don't know exactly what's going to happen, and we've still got to wait and really see what's going to go on there. But the good thing is that the statement did actually say, please be assured that the well-being and stability of the club is now our primary concern, and it's business as usual Saturday as the club continues to push forward. This does sound like a good thing, that they are really focusing on the stability of the club, because as I said, with players on such high wages, that's always going to be the concern. A club that has grown so quickly from having a small wage bill to having a wage bill that is a massive percent higher, do they have the foundations to fall back on to actually pay that? And I would pretty much say 100% they do not, without someone coming in and spending a lot of money as a benefactor like Tamplin has been doing. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this situation in the comment section down below. Do you think that Glenn Tamplin is now actually walking away from Billericay Town for good? Do you think he will be back soon? Do you think that they will struggle financially now and have to see all their players leave pretty much? Or will those players stick around and effectively cause this club to really struggle financially because they won't be able to afford those players' wages potentially? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and if you've enjoyed this video, remember to hit the like button and click subscribe as well to update with lots of different situations and lots of different types of videos around non-league football. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.